So my main filter is going to be anytime I see something that I want to immediately buy, just because the predominant trend is so bearish. Like, look at what we're dealing with. That's bearish as fuck. I need to make sure that like those setups actually have some sort of multiple confirmations, because like if I look at it like this, I would really never short that. So there's no reason for me to ever buy it by itself. I need like some extra, something additional, right? Because I will never ever take that short by itself. So you have to look at it the same way, especially when you're in a bearish trend. Bullish setups should fail, especially weak ones. So if you're taking a bunch of lower probability entries, you're just going to accumulate a lot more losses. So on something like this, it's just wait, for me at least. Miss that short. That short is something that fits within my system. Daily level, right? The daily open. You have the lower time frame confirmation, which is going to be this little bearish gap. And then you have a logical target, which is the data low. So that 100% fits in my system, but anything right here, the lows, I can't really buy it. There's not much I could do there. Oh, okay, I had my mic muted. All right, cool. So with what I was saying is, at this data low, I can't really do anything. Right, I can't buy it right here, just because if I look at it upside down, I would not short that necessarily by itself. I would wait for an additional confirmation, like some sort of higher low, but in that scenario, it would be a lower high. So even those might work, right, because of the data, the important level, I would wait for some sort of added confirmation. Maybe you're able to do the logic like this, where you get in on this gap, but yeah, overall the short today off of this daily open level, this gap right here, and the logical target down there, that's a good trade. Super easy trade. So you have the potential for a higher low here. However, this could just invert, and continue lower. We don't really have too much other time frames to align with this. Inversions are very common, and especially bullish gaps getting inverted in a bearish trend. So like what we've been going through, if you look at like the 60 or the 4-hour, it's a clear downtrend. Clearest downtrend I've ever seen. So buying stuff is, you had to be very precise. There's no reason to get overly bullish. It's much easier to just chill on a day like this and let an easy setup come to you. But yeah, as it stands right now, there's not really, aside from that early short, like that was probably the best trade we're going to see, in my opinion. But yeah, for now, just nothing. Yeah, see again, that's that inversion that I was mentioning. So this is a good lesson right here, right? You might think this is a good trade, but since the overall context is bearish and we have multiple upside rejections, buying this first gap, it's not going to work in your favor. Most of the time it's not. At least not for me. It hasn't. So this is at least the data I'm gathering. These are very, very, very likely to fail, especially when it's just like all it is just a failure swing, right? You want to look at like this, failure swing, lower highs. Sure, we have the data low, and maybe this ends up holding. Like this right here, this data low. Maybe this ends up holding. However, that gap right there is just too ambitious. It's not ready. We need at least, I would say more than likely we need at least the New York Open to kind of help this move if we're going to look for any upside. And then even then, to look for any sort of downside, we'd probably want it higher as well. That would be your downside level. It's not really my type of trade to be shorting like this. Personally, I don't really do that type of trade. For me to get comfortable shorting this right here, this candle, down to that daily low, prior day low, I just have to get better at seeing these shorts because I'm not good at seeing strong shorts. I can see weaker shorts, but like strong, predominantly bearish trends, hard for me to see because they happen so rarely that like I'm just not used to it. Shorting the data low. Yeah, shorting two data low. Yeah, that's a good trade. I mean, I just didn't see it in real time, honestly. I was just like a little slow. This trade up here, that short, that makes sense. You could trade it a couple different ways, obviously, because when you have multiple levels like this, you can trade a rejection of a level. That's a very common data move where you just kind of trade one of the pivots because, from here to here is going to be 40 points, or from here to here is like 40 points. Hell, even like if you did gap low back to VWAP, that's like a reasonable data trade. All these little scalps, one move, one move, one move. But you can also just align with the bigger move, which is, this play right here where you're short. This is one of my favorite trades I've taken on an NFP right here. It was like a long that looked literally just like this. Yeah, yeah, it's reasonable. I mean, the stops were bigger, but I mean, you could have definitely got an entry. Yeah, you would think so, right? Seems like it's gonna go prior day low. Let's see if any of the other indices are already there. Yeah, it looks like YM already ran prior day low. ES is about to. Same with NQ, obviously. So they're all about to run prior day low. But ES and YM are literally right there. So NQ might not. What up? I mean, for you, it's just that 5:30 or that 8:30 to 9:30 window. It's like a 10% hit rate before the bell. Yep. Yeah, if you just want to lean into the data, lean into what works, literally look at your best trades. None of them are before 8:30. I mean, maybe you've had a couple. I know I've had a couple that I can remember specifically. However, most of the time, majority of the time, it's not worth it. $15 minutes to the open for sure. Let's see what we got. A little sweep so far. I think this rips back into this range. Kind of monitor it for that. We do have SMT at the lows, so I would not be surprised if we didn't take priority low again. Yeah, that's a good trade. That's a good trade. Right now we're starting to get a little bit of bounce off the lows. Again, you don't have to be the first in any trade. You can just wait, you know. Yeah, I mean, these candles are how big? Like, let's actually look at that for a second. Let's find one candle. One candle's 27 points right now. So it's like, it's kind of insane to have a less than one candle stop, because it could just wick you. It doesn't even matter. 27 points on a candle. So it's like, yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, I think it'll be easy off the open. Yeah. I thought Bro was going to bed. Alejandro's back. Bro popped a natty, said I'm back, I'm locked in. He's on that 20-hour energy. Yeah. It's money time for him. So yeah, we're getting that higher low formation on yeah, look right here. Off the data low so far. I don't necessarily want to be in this trade right here. You know, I think it could just kind of, I don't know. I spent like an hour just looking at charts on like 10x speed on back testing. This thing could just kind of roll over, you know, make a new low. I'd rather it like give some sort of like really strong hold so I can just get in and target something like that. Morning. How you doing? Full port Friday. All right, so we're starting to hold that little level, that data low. So you're starting to hold this data low. You could, I feel like you could potentially scalp this to like right here, but why? You know, what would be the benefit? It's breaking this power candle. Hi. 30 points, 40 points. It could kind of just be bear flagging, right? Just rolling over. I'll just wait for the open, because the open could just kind of whip it. I don't know. I think I had to make like $20 or something to pass this account. This would be my aggressive account. I was like, I'm gonna get it funded just for scalping. So this one's gonna be a little. I'm just gonna have a fixed risk on the day and just try to maximize that by having a really, really, really precise entry. So it's kind of like that example I showed yesterday where it's like, yeah, everyone's like, oh, NQ sucked. I mean, it did. But if you waited until like the right candle, you could get in with like a 1 or 2 candle stop. And you could do it with like five or 6 or 7 contracts even, honestly. And then just peel them off as you go. So you could risk like less than 250, $300. And then you can make probably equally close to that with like a really, really, really quick move. Because I think that's one thing I kind of, you kind of forget about, but you want it in these types of markets. You want to have like that high confirmation entry where it's like this. And then once you get in, then it's ready to go. Because it's not just about risk reward. People, they're always like, oh, is it risk reward or win rate that matters? It's like, what about ease? What about like how fast the trade happens? What about like the perfect fucking entry? I feel like the volatility, you know, the speed to target, that's probably equally as important. And there's, because we trade intraday, we're not trading like long-term charts. There's ways for us to fucking see this stuff. So that's also something to kind of consider. Just with a little bit of refinement of the actual entry candle, you could get a much, much more rapid move. So that's going to be the focus with this account right here. But I think I need like $40 or something for the consistency rule for it. So we'll see. Maybe I get it to, maybe I don't. I don't even care at this point. But yeah, the idea would be have a daily stop of like 500 on this account, and then pretty much just kind of aim for like a $300 risk per trade. Take one trade per day between 9:30 and 10:45 ish. And that'll be this account. So I'll do one trade a day between that period of time, just so I can get consistent stats on this one. I want to have one account that has like really, really, really consistent stats. So basically what I'm doing is just combining a lot of my previous system with the types of entries I use now, like the types of like fair value gaps and all that shit. So because I used to be very focused on scalping opening drives, scalping stocks in play. So there's a lot of like timing that you have to be really good at, and if you can move quick, you can do that pretty well. So I was just thinking about a lot of that because I was on a podcast yesterday where we kind of talked about some of that stuff, and it made me really kind of think about like how can I actually be refining this, because a lot of people use ICT and all this shit. They use it incorrect. They use it so stupid. And I'm like, okay, so how can I make it my own? And really, it comes down to just the timing of the entries. Like, you know, we're talking about even right here. Remember how I was like, oh yeah, you could like potentially get in here, but now you're going sideways for like 5 minutes. Where the fuck is your stop? You know, maybe even just wait for like a strong candle close, like strong candle close. You enter above that candle high, you get that in like one candle, the target in one candle. That would be the idea. So avoid all of this like, oh, I just got in here and it consolidated for 6 minutes. There's probably a candle right at the end, right before it goes, that gives you indication it's going to go higher. So that's kind of my thought process. It will help a lot more with risk management because you don't have to worry too much about the wick. If you see the wick form first, and then you can get positioned, or hell, even gain positioned for like the 15-minute candle rotation. Let the little wick form for the 15. You get in right at the open price of the 15 and let it go. So it's more than just like buy a fair value gap. Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I'm just saying, like, for sure, that's kind of the approach I want to be taking. I think it'll bounce to some extent right here. YM took prior day low, so I think you're gonna get that SMT again. But we got like 4 minutes. How's the account going, Gito? So yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of a good thing. Break rules, account doesn't go too well. You know, that's what the rules teach you. You're like, oh shit, maybe I should follow them. It'd be bad if every time you broke rules, you like made money, because then eventually you'll blow up doing it. You know.
Yeah. Hey, Christian.
Yeah,
I
you're
think
good,
it's
man.
better to talk to you on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just broke some rules this week, bro. It's just not the best
Yeah, you're good.
from what I did last week, if you remember.
Yeah. Last
So,
week was consistent, so
yeah.
at
So
least you have
this
data.
week
You
was
know,
not the
you're able to
best.
see like, yeah, that's probably not the best thing to do, but yeah, we'll hop on a call soon. I don't know what your schedule looks like.
Yeah, I'll definitely set some time.
For sure. All right, so yeah, now we just kind of wait. You see this 5-minute candle closure right here doesn't look too amazing, right? The previous one. We're kind of sweeping lower. We'll see if this wants to form some sort of wick right here. Give you some sort of strong indication that it wants to go higher. You would think, at least to like VWAP, but again, who cares, right? It doesn't need to do anything. It could just reach for prior day low. Prior day low is literally 35 points lower. So it's like within reach. Right there. But if you wanted to rush into an entry, it's like, oh no, now your stop's down here or something. Like, no, that's the wrong way to do it. You wait for it to get real tight, get sideways, form some sort of signal, buy above that signal bar, target the obvious trade. Because like, what would be a better outcome, right? Let's just say this hypothetically worked and you had a stop right here and an entry right here in one contract, or you waited for the perfect moment, you see a really strong indication, you have a stop half the size with like 3 times the contracts, and it hits immediately. I think one of those has a better long-term outcome. You wait for a more refined entry. Right here, this hasn't refined shit. This is garbage. It's just kind of bouncing around. So we got less than a minute till the open. We'll see if anything gets inverted right here. More than likely, you could just trade lower. Again, don't be a hero. Yeah, Gita, that's a good trade. Yeah, I like that. All right, that's the open. And we trade. What a slow open. What a slow opening candle. Let's see if we invert this gap right here. All right, let's see.
Order filled.
Yeah, I'll just try that, whatever. If it stops me, it stops me. Let's see, what, 2100? Only need like 30, 40 bucks or something for the consistency. But if it stops me, I'll take it. So the 5 minute looks decent. Hourly swing point forming, 15 looks good. So it looks like it could close higher. I don't see why I would need a wick. I mean, obviously you have prior day low, which isn't great, right below us, about 30 points, but worth giving it a shot. Only need like 30 bucks, but if it stops me, whatever. Have a tight stop for a reason. Holding the data low is the idea. If it doesn't want to hold it, if it does one of those double inverses, then so be it. I don't want to have the full stop there. But it's very resistant. It's very, very resistant at this little price. The 73, the entry price. ES pushing higher. YM's leading the way for sure right now. YM's already breaking higher. So silly. ES or NQ can be so weak sometimes. It really just gets jammed. gold, yeah, right. Yeah, gold might be better at this point. I think anything's better than NQ. So this thing probably just gonna stop real quick. Yeah, YM already hit the target that I wanted. You know what I mean? Like it already went that far. NQ can't even move one candle higher. It's like it's kind of silly, but whatever.
Order filled.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, now is it gonna go? We'll try it one last time.
Order filled.
Here, just for that swing high. It got me by a tick, so I'll take it. I need 120. 88. Yeah, I should have just had the stop a little wider. It literally hit it to like the bottom tick. It's all good. I'm going to wait for this 5-minute candle to close, then I'll move stop. And if this doesn't work, then so be it. I'm over it. It should be a simple trade. You know, hold the data low, inverse gap, target the inside range liquidity, right? Target the swing high right here. Shouldn't come back here, right? In the 5-minute. Should just tag this in like one candle. Really, it shouldn't be this hard. It just says, no, I'm good. I can't go higher. Let's hope that's just the wick for the 5-minute. Really, this shouldn't be difficult at all. I'm just trying to get the consistency rule. It's not even like I'm trying to take a serious trade or anything. Here, I'll put it break even. It's like, what, one tick off or some shit? 1 point. There we go. 53.045. I think that's enough for the consistency rule. Hopefully. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. The target is VWAP. I don't need it. I'm just trying to get this aggressive account ready. I'm going to be trading this. This is the one I'm going to be trading on stream. So I'm going to do one trade a day with this. Kind of like this, right? This was one trade. Sure, I took 2 entries, whatever. It like stopped me to the bottom tick. Oh, 46.25. 44.75. It barely just got me. So a couple points below, but whatever. We're up. I mean, here's the thing. It can absolutely melt. I don't think it needs to continue higher. So what we do in bearish trends is we sweep old highs. So if you can find something where there's like a little bit of a trap right here, right? This is what I consider a trap, right? We flip that. Eager shorts. And then you just sweep them out. Like that stops out anybody trying to get short. Yeah, low hanging fruit for sure. For sure. I mean, in this market, yeah, you kind of just want those easy trades. So I hope you like that framework, guys. I mean, it's a simple trade you could take just using the open. I made a mistake, I suppose, by having too narrow of a stop. Obviously, you want your stop right here. I was just trying to like not really give it too much room, I guess. So kind of like Drew, you know, if you try to keep the stop too tight, you might get wicked, especially on NQ. NQ will do this, but ES didn't. Look at if you want to compare it to ES, we'll look at micro ES right here. Look at ES perfect. NQ is just kind of an asshole sometimes. Like you get your swing high right here, right? Look at ES perfect. You know, you don't have necessarily an inverse, but it just stabs in this gap. You know, just barely. That's a good trade for ES. 32 to 44, 10 points. Make a living off 10 points. Yeah. 25 points is pretty solid. Yeah, I know you for a while you're using like 10 points. So that makes sense, 25 points. I mean, I just kind of put my stop in a risky spot, I guess. I don't even know the size of it, right? It's 25 points. That was what it was, I think. Yeah, look at this. Look at this asshole right here. Just sweeps lower again. Stop at anybody and then runs. But that's kind of what you see on the 5-minute. Remember what I was saying yesterday? If you're on stream yesterday, you remember what I was saying about these wicks. They do damage to both sides. Everyone loves to say like wicks do damage, but what does it actually mean? In reality, it's shit like this. Anything that happens quick on a low time frame is just a wick on a bigger time frame. Pretty simple stuff. But it will really affect your trading if you get caught up trying to, fight for your life in here. It's not going to work for you. So I think I have enough for the consistency rule on this account. Pretty sure I'm fine. 15 and 15. I think that's all right. I think they won't say anything. Because I had like 1480 or something earlier, 1460. I think it says I needed to make, it was like 1540. I think it says I need to make an additional $88, but I don't think I need to. I don't know, 40 fucking bucks, dude. That's like, it's a rounding error. When I'm trading 10 or when I'm trading like 30 to 50 micros, it's a rounding error. Yeah, I think it's fine. I've had evals where I've made like, what did I make? I don't know. I think I made 1480 plus the 1500. I think I've done that one time and they gave it to me. Yeah, it was wild. I don't know what the fuck they did. It was literally not, it was not 53,000. It was like 52 something. Yeah. Yeah, right now I have 53,045. 53,045. Look at this. Not too bad. This is a good inversion, right? Okay, so NQ's picking up, right? NQ's picking up. Here's where you could potentially look for like a higher low or something. Because if you think we traded to one side of the wick, maybe we trade to the other side of the wick now, right? That's a potential trade. Potential trade idea. We're at VWAP. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be good. This one will be, I'm just going to be really focused on those precise entries like I was saying with this account. So just really trying to nail the size because I'd rather take like a $300 loss on one fucking trade than have $300 losing days. It's a little different. And then if you're only taking one trade, that's how you're going to have that loss that size. Instead of like, oh, paper cut, because 5 paper cuts will never lead you to making like a substantial amount on the day. It's better just to wait for one really, really, really good trade and then take one stop on it. Instead of like, oh, I wicked out 4 or 5 times, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Yeah, I took one long off the open. That was about it. I like this though. I think this is clean. I was saying pretty much at this VWAP area. I think, yeah, right here, the 30 seconds a good example. I was telling people the VWAP plus the gap, that's a good entry. Probably target wick high, more than likely. Just wake up and buy. So you got NQ approaching midnight open in a second. Yeah, it's really just that SMT so far at the lows, right? So you had everything. You had YM run prior day low, but the other two did not. So it's always good to watch that in real time. But yeah, this one's done. Just done. Boom. Discount's done. So I don't accidentally fucking hit the ladder or something. You ever do that? You're just like, you accidentally click, like you click an order, you accidentally click market order or some shit. I do that all the time with a laptop. Like the little trackpad. It's the fucking worst. Like you'll be just dragging your finger and it like clicks it. I'm like, I did not press it. I know I didn't press it. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice action. This is really clean to me. All right, homie. Yeah, take care. Peace out. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good 1 minute. 1 minute move. So you had the inversion. The inversion's really clean. So we'll break down that. We'll break down that inversion right there. So if you took the one off the open and had a really short target like we did, we caught this right here from here to here. Easy move, easy move. However, there's an even better trade than that. If you look at right here, the 1 minute, see right here, boom, inversion. It closes above the inversion, and then you get this dip, this little pullback right here, this black candle. You could buy this fucker right here and then run it, and then you're trailing prior bar low. Maybe you don't trail this one. Maybe you trail right there. So you can get from right here, you get about 50 points at least. Maybe it holds, right? And then you get up to the wick high. I think the wick high is reasonable to trade to just because we have that overhead gap right here. And we did not test it. So I think this right here should be a pretty strong draw on liquidity. But I'll gladly wait for today to kind of settle. I don't want to get too aggressive on NFP. I'd rather wait for Monday or Tuesday because then we can have that inside bar kind of break if you want to look at the daily. What the fuck? What's going on? Look at the daily. Get this little inside bar right here. Boom, boom, boom. So if we get this right here, maybe we could trade back into like this area. I'd rather trade the break of whatever today's high is. Like look for an entry, then yeah, target that. Or I guess even to the downside could potentially work. But I'll wait for today to generate data because it doesn't look amazing to me. I just don't want to get chopped up here. So pass this eval, focus on that, done, boom. Oh yeah, thanks. I thought I had it on yesterday. I guess I didn't. The marker. Yeah, there's a bunch of little settings on it. Boom, change the color. Zoom in on shit, right? I think the zoom's the coolest one. See? So I'd be like, yeah, see this little gap right here? I use this shit for myself. I'm like, hey, can I see this? Yeah, it's like, I think I had to pay $3 and I get some more features too, so I'm gonna do that. I hate when an app's like, oh, can you give me $3 and I'll give you bet? I'm like, dude, why'd you ask? It's like when you go to a grocery store and they're like, do you want to pay 10 cents for a bag? I'm like, I'd rather pay an extra $5 for you never to ask me that fucking question again. You know? Every time, oh, do you want to pay sit? No, I'm going to steal them actually. Stop fucking asking me shit. I never think about stuff and I hardly look at the price of shit when I go out. Like, I just buy it. I don't look at price of gas. What am I going to do? Not drive? Figure it out, you know? Oh, no, fucking 10 cents for a bag. I'm like, bro, fuck those turtles. I don't even care. What are you charging me this for again? Add it to the tax. It's like the biggest turnoff. Yeah, let me just focus on 10 cents. I don't even keep change. I don't have quarters anywhere. Asking me some stupid shit. I'm like, I pay more in commission on a fucking trade than I ever will for fucking bags, you know? Like, so stupid. I'll pay more in gas fees buying Ethereum than I will for that shit. Or just sending Ethereum. So yeah, we're at midnight open. That's I'd say a really significant point for today. Look, boom, pull up the levels. See, we got midnight open right here. Throw this on the 5. Yeah, so we're breaking that. Here's our 2 charts. We'll clean up some levels, make it easier for everyone to see. Boom. Boom. And we get rid of all these fuckers. A lot of wicks at the bottom did some damage, right? Breakout level, hit data high. Yeah, I think it's a potential low formation, right? Low of week. Or I guess low, yeah, no shit. It's the end of the week. Like low of the price swing. I think this could potentially lead for upside Monday, Tuesday. But we're back into the new day gap. Right? So right here. Yeah, that VWAP trade, right? That VWAP trade. VWAP plus that in the 30-second gap. I think that was a really clean setup right there. So here's your 30-second. Yeah, that little entry. It's a big ass breaker kind of deal. So entry here. There's your VWAP, same price, same area. So if I'm long anywhere in here, I'd be taking partials at like this new day gap for sure, midnight open. Somewhere in this area I would have taken a partial. I wouldn't necessarily hold this full thing because if we like close, like specifically if we close under here, you know, this right here can actually make for a pretty weak continuation. Like if it closes lower, you want it to close higher, and then the next candle would obviously form a wick and then go. So it's an okay close, right? You just want to see this run out pretty quick. It gave a bottom wick at that level. That's what you call immediate rebalance, right? When it taps that wick. I'm just saying that's where it could reject. Yeah. I'm gonna start gaslighting people. I'm like, oh, bro, if you don't hold it to full target or 0, you're a bitch. Hold it to your full stop after it's up 100 points. No, but seriously, it's like those are just areas where it could reject. Oh yeah. Little fireworks and shit. Bang. I think there's like tools like a rectangle and shit. Text, cool. So yeah, I'll have to get that later. It makes my job easier, so I don't have to fucking erase everything. It just deletes. I just went on ChatGPT. I said, can I get a fucking pen thing to write on my screen? They're like, yeah, download this screen brush. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, I mean, it's how Google used to be. I used to be able to go on Google and say, hey, can I get this fucking whatever I need? And then it would give me a link to whatever I needed. Now it's like, it gives me a bunch of ads for like shit that I'm not even asking about. So ChatGPT is just like, you pay $20 or whatever and you get no ads really. So that's why I like it. It's not because fucking AI is the future. It's like, no, I need to Google something and I don't want a bunch of ads. So yeah, from here, like, see how it's starting to get close to that high? Hasn't broke it, I don't think. It's like equal highs. Ideally, this closes as a hammer, and then you get that continuation higher. So there's your continuation. I mean, if you're like scalping this move, this is probably where you put your stop below the prior, the new day gap low, like this swing low right here. Because yeah, you got to think of it. If it fails above the gap, it'll probably trade much lower. So what I've liked doing is just kind of trailing it, because then if it stops me and I haven't taken partials, that will be my partial. And then I could potentially look for a re-entry if I want to. But something I've done too much in February specifically, I've been up and I haven't taken anything off, and then I give back the whole move and I'm like, that was a lot of profit. I could have trailed at least fucking some of it. So instead of it being like a flat or partially red trade, it could have been a kind of green trade. So it's always something to consider. But again, that's kind of why I'm trying to have this aggressive account so I can have more size so I can take off partials. So the majority of my executions will be profitable trades rather than there being just one or 3 or 5 runners. I'd rather have like a bulk where I'm taking off 20, 40, 60 and then let some run. So right here, yeah, pretty clear that we're going to be destined for that high. You know, you can look at, I guess, even the 5-minute wick. You always want to see that price is kind of moving through these wicks with some sort of ease. You don't want it to ever get jammed at like the 50% or anything like that. Half the time, if you ever see like a 1-minute wick, especially, you'll see it kind of like stair step up on this fucker. But about a minute, we'd want it to close over 50% of that wick, but it doesn't have to. Yeah, 280 to 300's more than likely reasonable. You know, if this was my long, I'd be taking it off probably a data high or like this low right here, 277. But yeah, see this close? That's what's going to matter. Yeah, like it pushed in, initially rejected the 25% of the wick, stabbed down, now it's above the 25, now it's dancing with the 50%. So that little stair step, it could do that the whole way, kind of just boom, 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 boom. I don't know why it does that, but I've seen it do it like a lot of times. I think too many people are like, oh, this is exactly what happens. I don't fucking know. I just see it happen. I'm like, yeah, it's probably going to do something like this. It wouldn't surprise me if it kind of just zigzagged all the way up. See, now you're starting to get that rejection. See how there's like that weakening of momentum, right? So you have candle high, and then now this candle high. Now you're forming topping wicks. It's like wick, 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 wick. Now you get that flip, right? So that's where I'd be watching for the potential rotation. Yeah, I think so. It was a clean trade for sure. Even just VWAP to the top of the gap, like 220, with that whatever you call it, the bullish fair value gap on the 30-second. Yeah. Oh yeah. See, now we're rejecting. So pretty much in line with what I was saying. You know, you see the dampening or the weakening of momentum, and now it's likely that especially if it closes, you know, with 3 minutes left, it's probably going to close heavy. You're going to be looking at, let's see, rectangle, maybe this. Probably cut through this. So this is what you call a failure swing, right? It failed to break the external range, and it's just going to seek back into the range. Yeah, I mean, normally, like if you've looked at charts enough, you have the intuition to know to get out of the fucking trade. We're just too stubborn. You literally know when you get in a bad trade. You feel it. You just might ignore it, but if you know how to trade, you know what a bad trade is. If you're stubborn, if you have a big ego, then yeah, maybe you'll end up taking the loss. But if you're smart about it, you don't even need to. So you got two potential scenarios here. It's either, yeah, you wick. If you're too zoomed in on the 1 minute, you're probably thinking, oh yeah, we hold this. We might, right? We might. But it's very likely that we could trade back into some of this right here. So something like that. Yeah, now you get that 1 minute gap forming, right? See this? This is your like model 2022 almost. This right here is probably gonna trade down to in somewhere in here. Yeah, look at that fucking 15 minute. Tell me that's strong. So this 15 minute is doing the same thing that the 5 minute was doing. So where is the next logical target? You know, you got to be thinking, is this potentially right here, this sell setting up for the run to prior day low? Could be, short cover and rally, whatever you want to fucking call it. But there was clues. So one of the things you can do to help identify shorts if you're not able to see them is look for weakening momentum of the bullish scenario. It's rallying, rallying. You got your 3 drives. I feel like the stuff is actually pretty clear today, right? So you get 1 drive, 2 drives, 3 drives, market structure shift, fair value gap. Maybe it's going to displace. We have 1 minute till 10 a.m. Do we have any news? Yeah, 3 drives is solid. So it's a good indication. I use it as a bullish reversal a lot. I know that. I pay attention to it. So I need to start doing the same thing with shorts. But rejected new day gap, rejected midnight open. Now we're at VWAP. Not looking super strong. Could hold, but does not look strong based on multiple time frames. Seeing that 5 minute gap. Maybe the 5 minute gap's enough, right? Maybe that'll hold. But it's very likely that we kind of just sink. Yeah, see? So my best estimate is we're going to run these right here. We're going to run these and potentially go for prior day low because it's right there. So a little short covering rally back into the new day opening gap. Swept out midnight open, model 2022 formation. This is like a really fucking layup right here. Boom. Monster trade, right? If it gets there. So you shorted here, midnight open, fair value gap. I'd have my stop right here at like 65 or 60. Fuck it. So you'd be 30 points in profit. You'd hope that there's some sort of breakaway gap that forms here. You don't necessarily want this to close as a wick. NQ being the weakest so far. Yeah, pretty layups set up to both sides. It makes sense because this bullish structure, sure, it went higher, but you saw the whole time it was losing momentum. You know, it was losing momentum on all these time frames, the 5 and the 1 minute even, you see it. Kind of just drifted higher. There wasn't strong displacement ever. So this retracement makes sense. You could also pay attention to something like the fibs, right? From the low to high. Like 78.6, boom. 8. So yeah, 61.8 right now that we're at. So it could hold here, right? Maybe it's an intraday pullback. That's why you'd have your stop and profit. Maybe put it right here, 53s, 50. So that way if it's a rejection off of this fib from low to high, then you get out right here. But again, I don't know. That's mainly why I don't like shorting all the way at the lows, because get some unpredictability like this. Like at the daily lows, if you will. Yeah, 5 minute wick. So yeah, solid morning, I would say. Really, really clean setups. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, I'm pretty tired too, honestly. Probably hop off in like 5 minutes. Yeah, I'll answer any questions if anyone has anything. What'd you guys trade? Any questions? Yeah, we'll hop off right here. Pretty solid morning, I'd say. You saw the potential for a short. The long was really layup, honestly. There's entry there. Clear targets that we all had annotated ahead of time. So yeah, call it a day. Nice and easy Friday. Don't lose your shit. Don't blow up today. Save it for next week. All right, later guys. Take care.